This looks like a wacky one. The Electric State trailer has dropped on Netflix. It's one of Netflix's biggest movies for 2025. I'm going to react to the trailer, going to watch it together. I'm going to share my first reactions, my first responses, and then get a little bit into the story, looking to see what Netflix has told us about this film. So stick around until afterwards. Let's react and watch this together.
You sure you want to do this?
Right now, all of us have something in common. We all lost something after the rebellion.
Tattered flag.
Robots lost their freedom.
Is that a big teddy bear?
Humans lost connection with each other. And I lost everyone I loved. Or so I thought.
So you want to go get your brother back? I'll go with you.
Chris.
Someday you will find me
Russo brothers.
in a champagne supernova, a champagne supernova in the sky.
I'm sorry. You can't change the way things are. Watch me.
Get ready.
You ready for what now?
Clem, get us out of here!
Who throws a fridge? Son of a...
All right. Okay. All right. March 14th is the release of this film on Netflix. It's going to be exclusively on Netflix. It's not going to be in theaters. My first thoughts is when I see this, I think, oh, this is kind of like a fun live action PG-13, kind of like Real Steel, a little bit family oriented, has a good heart message. And I'm sure it's going to be that. But for older audiences who want real depth in their story, it might feel a little shallow. However, this is made by the Russo brothers. Now, if you take a look at IMDb, directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo. And when you look at like Anthony's IMDb, I was checking to see what type of stuff he's done recently as far as directing. He's doing a lot of producing, but like, since he's directing this, what has he done recently that's directing? So obviously he has Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars. That is not a secret when they did the whole announcement for Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom. They're looking for success. They're looking for another Marvel success. So they're bringing back in the fellas who made Infinity War and Endgame. Now, I have issues with Endgame, not complete issues, but some issues. I, however, thought Infinity War was fantastic. Infinity War was, as far as Avengers movie go, was definitely really far up there. I loved Captain America Civil War. I really liked The Gray Man, which was one of the last things they did, at least according to IMDb in 2022. That was also on Netflix. I thought The Gray Man was great. A lot of people thought it was dull or shallow. I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was a really good action flick that had a really nice vibe to it. Getting into the story, this is the official description from Netflix. Okay, so The Electric State is a spectacular adventure from the directors of Avengers Endgame, set in an alternate retro-futuristic version of the 1990s So that's an interesting detail, a retro futuristic version of the 1990s. So we're kind of sticking with this dated kind of nostalgia vibe, but also making it sci-fi essentially. Millie Bobby Brown stars as Michelle, an orphan teenager navigating life in a society where sentient robots resembling cartoon and mascots who once served peacefully among humans now live in exile following a failed uprising. Everything Michelle thinks she knows about the world is upended one night when she's visited by Cosmo, a sweet, mysterious robot who appears to be controlled by Christopher, Michelle's genius younger brother, who she thought was dead. Michelle sets out across the American Southwest with Cosmo and soon finds herself reluctantly joining forces with Keats, Chris Pratt, a low-rent smuggler, all right, and his wisecrack robot sidekick, Herman, as they venture into the exclusion zone, a walled-off corner in the desert where robots now exist in their own. Kreitz and Michelle find a strange, colorful group of new animatronic allies and begin to learn that forces behind Christopher's disappearance are more sinister than they ever expected. Now, I'll say with all of that information, I'm going to just call it right now. The humans are the bad ones, all right? They made it appear as if the animatronics did an uprising against humans, but the humans are the ones that manufactured. It's going to be a conspiracy thing. It's going to come to light. I think that's pretty obvious. That's a trope. It's a narrative we're seeing constantly in Hollywood. And this looks like a fun movie. All right, it's a very casual, fun movie with a not very deep plot. It's literally, we're going to travel across the country to find a loved one. So it's a journey story. It's a journey story. I'm going to say the vibe looks cool. The giant head things to motivate the 1990s kind of technology look, but it's very futuristic in nature as well, where there's robots. I'm not fully understanding the mascot choice, but it's fresh. It's unique. It's not something like we just got Creator like a year or two ago, and that was more traditional, interesting looking, but still robot-like. So this is kind of a fresh take. The Russo brothers have done a very impressive recent list of directed films, and so this gives me interest that it's actually going to end up being a lot more than maybe the trailer shows us or this description tells us, that it's actually going to be a lot of fun, and that it's going to be a journey that's not as surface level as it's currently coming across. Now, again, the vibe is awesome. They're selling it in a big way off of Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt. I think that's definitely a big factor to this. And of course, the Russo brothers are a big selling factor at this point as well. So we'll see how this all goes, but I'm intrigued. I'm not like super excited for this yet. And this trailer doesn't necessarily have me like anticipating it, but I'm very intrigued and I'm going to watch it in March when it comes out on Netflix for sure. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Leave a comment. Tell me, is this exciting to you? Any theories? Have you heard anything else about the film that might be interesting to know about? And like the video so we can get a bigger conversation in the YouTube algorithm going on in the comments. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.